The palace did not feel like a palace. From outside, it looked like a weapon. A black wedge carved into a dead asteroid. Docking scars ran across its surface like old knife wounds. Gun ports lined its edges. It did not invite guests. It measured them. Anyone looking at it would think the same thing. This place does not forgive mistakes. But inside was different. The gravity felt softer. The air smelled like rain on stone. The corridors were wide and curved gently, like they did not believe in sharp edges. The walls shimmered with patterns that moved only when someone pretended not to look. It was beautiful. And it was dangerous. Elias Vaughn walked behind his escort, trying not to show fear. The escort's armor moved like liquid metal, but it was not metal. Plates shifted and flexed. Small glowing symbols crawled across its surface. Every time the escort paused, the armor made a soft tone. Pleasant. Unclear. His translator implant tried to interpret it. Tone. Respectful. Possible secondary meaning. Warning. Possible tertiary meaning. Mockery. Translation confidence. 22%. Elias swallowed. That did not help. The audience chamber opened ahead like the mouth of something ancient. Inside stood a crescent of armored figures. Silent. Armed. Still as statues. Every suit was different. Every presence felt the same. Ready. A thin beam of light passed over Elias' chest. His implant spoke calmly in his ear. Heart rate elevated. Suggestion. Breathe normally. He tried. He failed. He was supposed to say one sentence. One diplomatic line. One harmless statement to begin humanity's first real alliance with the Valari Empire. He opened his mouth. Nothing came out. Silence stretched. He heard faint suit-to-suit data whispers. Quiet pulses of light moved across their armor. Armor did the talking here. No one risked saying the wrong thing with their real voice. Then she moved. The princess stepped forward from the crescent. The word princess felt too small. The room shifted toward her like gravity changed. Her armor was smooth. Reflective. It mirrored the ceiling lattice like calm water. No rank marks. She did not need them. She stopped at a distance that was perfect. Not friendly. Not hostile. Precise. Her visor tilted toward him. He did not feel watched. He felt measured. His implant tried to access her signal and immediately stopped. Access denied. Access overridden. Access meaningless. Her voice entered his mind. Warm. Amused. Curious. Speak, she said gently. Be brave. His brain offered thousands of words. All of them wrong. He managed a small sound. Half cough. Half surrender. A ripple passed through the court. Armor tones shifted. His implant translated rapidly. Disappointment. Evaluation shift. Possible. Nutritional recess. Elias blinked. Nutritional recess. The princess's shoulders rose slightly. A sigh. Then her hand moved to her collar. 2 fingers pressed the seam where armor met skin. A click sounded. Soft. Intimate. The crescent of nobles stiffened. Warning symbols flashed across one suit so fast it looked like panic learning to read. A hovering drone adjusted position. Recording. The princess lifted her visor. Just a fraction. Elias saw light inside. A faint glow behind her eyes, like she carried starlight beneath her skin. Her voice returned inside his mind. If you cannot remove your fear, she said softly, then watch me remove mine. And slowly, she began to unlock her armor. Middle. The risk no one understood. The first plate slid free from her throat. The air changed. In Valari culture, armor was not clothing. It was identity. Protection. Authority. Trust was shown through signal encryption. Not skin. For a royal to open her armor in public. It was unthinkable. The noble's suits flickered rapidly. Alarm. Protest. Shock. Elias stood frozen. The princess removed the collar seal. Then the chest plate separated with a smooth motion. The armor folded away in segments, hovering slightly before sealing at her back. Her face was visible now. Not fully human. Not fully alien. Her skin shimmered faintly in the chamber light. Her eyes held layered pupils, glowing softly like distant suns. She was beautiful. Not in a simple way. In a powerful way. A way that made the entire room adjust around her existence. She stepped closer. No barrier. No shield. No helmet. "You are afraid," she said aloud now, her voice echoing softly in the chamber. Her spoken voice was gentler than her telepathic one. "Yes," Elias admitted. The court froze. A human diplomat had just confessed weakness. Without calculation. Without politics. "Yes," he repeated. "And you are not?" he asked. The room tightened. It was not his place to question royalty. But she smiled. A small, honest curve of her lips. "I am terrified," she replied. The chamber erupted in silent chaos. Suit signals flared in angry bursts. Royal vulnerability was forbidden. She ignored them. "Our empire does not remove armor," she said calmly. "We do not show doubt. We do not expose flesh in negotiation." She took another step. "I'm doing so now." Elias stared. "Why?" he whispered. She studied him carefully. "Because your species does something we do not understand." Her eyes glowed brighter. "You walk into rooms without armor." He blinked. "That's just called being underprepared." She tilted her head slightly. "You trust strangers with your uncovered faces." He thought of Earth. Markets. Cities. People laughing in open air. "We don't think of it as trust," he said slowly. "We just live." The nobles shifted uneasily. The princess nodded once. "That is bravery," she said. "Or stupidity," he replied. A pause. Then she laughed softly. The sound was not mechanical. Not amplified. Real. The court froze harder than before. A royal laugh during diplomatic evaluation was unheard of. She stepped even closer now. Close enough that Elias could see faint patterns moving beneath her skin like living constellations. "You fear saying the wrong thing," she said quietly. "Yes." "You fear offending my court." "Yes." "You fear dying." He hesitated. "Yes." She nodded. "And yet you came." The words settled in the chamber like gravity. The noble signals slowed. Evaluation recalculated. The princess lifted her chin slightly. "My court believes power is shown through protection," she said. "Through control." She looked directly into his eyes. "I believe power is shown through choice." Silence stretched. Then she did something impossible. She extended her bare hand toward him. No shield. No scanning field. No weapon. The entire crescent tensed. One noble suit pulsed warning red. Another prepared a defense field. Elias' implant screamed internally. Unknown pathogen risk. Unknown nanite risk. Unknown cultural violation. Suggest immediate withdrawal. He ignored it. Slowly, carefully, he removed his diplomatic glove. His hand trembled slightly. He reached forward. And touched her hand. The chamber lights flickered. Not from malfunction. From shock. Human skin met Valari skin. No interface. No encryption. Just contact. The princess inhaled sharply. Her eyes widened. The noble's suits flared violently. But she did not pull away. Instead, she smiled again. "Warm," she said softly. "Yes," Elias replied. "That's normal." She closed her eyes briefly. "As is yours." The room changed. Not physically. Emotionally. The princess turned slightly toward her court. "In this moment," she said calmly, "we are not threatened." The nobles hesitated. Processing. Evaluating. Recalculating risk. Finally. Their armor tones shifted. Not alarm. Not aggression. Curiosity. The princess looked back at Elias. "You came unshielded," she said. "Yes." "You admitted fear." "Yes." "You still chose to stand." "Yes." Her voice lowered. "That is strength." Climax. The challenge. One noble stepped forward abruptly. His armor was jagged, covered in sharp ridges and flashing authority glyphs. "Princess," he said through amplified tone. "This is weakness." She did not turn. "It is choice," she corrected. "He is unprotected," the noble continued. "Unproven. His species lacks unity. They fight among themselves. They are chaotic." Elias felt the truth in those words. Humans were not perfect. Far from it. The princess finally turned toward the noble. "Yes," she said calmly. "They are chaotic." Her eyes brightened. "They are also adaptable." She gestured slightly toward Elias. "Observe." The noble activated a low-level intimidation field. The air vibrated slightly. Elias felt the pressure. His knees wanted to bend. His mind screamed retreat. But he did not move. He stood. Afraid. Breathing unevenly. But standing. The princess spoke quietly. "He does not have armor." The noble increased the pressure. Elias' vision blurred slightly. His implant warned him of elevated stress hormones. He stayed. Finally, the princess raised one hand. The field dropped instantly. She faced the noble fully. "You see weakness," she said. "I see courage." The noble fell silent. The princess turned back to Elias. "Will your people stand beside ours?" she asked clearly, without hiding behind fear. Elias swallowed. "Yes," he said. "Will you admit mistakes?" "Yes." "Will you learn?" "Yes." She studied him one last time. Then she turned to her court. "The alliance stands." Shock rippled through the chamber. But no one challenged her again. Ending, a different kind of strength. Later, in a quieter corridor, Elias stood beside the princess. Her armor had reformed around her, though her visor remained open. "You changed everything today," he said softly. She shook her head. "You did." "I almost fainted." "You did not." "I was very close." She smiled faintly. "That is the point." He looked at her. "Why risk it?" She considered carefully. "Because empires built on fear collapse," she said. "But alliances built on choice endure." He nodded slowly. She studied him one more time. "Your species," she said thoughtfully, "does something rare." "What's that?" "You move forward, even while afraid." Elias exhaled softly. "Most of us are afraid all the time." She nodded once. "Then you are always brave." Far behind them, in the audience chamber, the nobles continued to process the event. For the first time in Valari history, a royal had removed her armor in public. For the first time, skin had touched skin without protocol. For the first time, the Empire had seen that strength was not always forged in steel. Sometimes. It was forged in vulnerability. And far beyond the asteroid palace, across human space, news began to spread. Not about weapons. Not about fleets. But about something stranger. The alien princess who removed her armor. And the human who did not run. The Empire had expected conquest. Instead, they found courage. And in that moment, humanity proved something simple. You do not need armor to stand tall. The alliance lasted exactly 11 days before the war began. Elias Vaughn was drinking something that pretended to be tea when the palace lights turned red. Not flashing. Not panicked. Just red. Calm. Controlled. Which made it worse. The soft gravity inside the asteroid palace shifted slightly. Somewhere deep in the structure, heavy systems powered up. The air lost its scent of rain and stone. It smelled metallic now. Military. His translator implant activated before he could ask. External fleet detected. Unknown origin. Vector. Aggressive. Impact window. 23 minutes. Elias stood slowly. "Unknown," he muttered. The door to his chamber opened without a sound. The princess stepped inside. Her armor was fully sealed now. Smooth. Perfect. Reflective like a blade in low light. This was not the open-visored princess from the court. This was something else. Her voice entered his mind. They are called the Karth Dominion. A tactical display unfolded between them, a floating projection of dark ships sliding out of hyperspace like knives cutting fabric. They do not negotiate, she continued. Do they know about the alliance? Elias asked. Yes. Is that why they're here? Yes. He exhaled slowly. So this is my fault. No, she said firmly. This is fear. The projection zoomed in. The Karth ships were large, angular, built for intimidation. They ruled by pressure, she explained. They believe the Valari Empire grows weak. Elias almost laughed. Because you removed your helmet? Yes. The word carried no shame. Just truth. Outside the chamber, the palace trembled slightly as defense grids activated. You should evacuate, she said. Elias stared at her. No. Her visor tilted. You are not Valari military. I'm human. That is not an improvement. Debatable, he said. Even through the armor, he could feel her studying him. You are afraid, she observed. Extremely. And yet I'm staying. A pause. Then her mental tone softened slightly. Very well. Middle, the first strike. The asteroid palace shifted its outer plates like a living creature waking up. Gun ports opened. Shield lattices formed. The red lights faded into calm white again, as if war were simply another routine. Elias stood in the central command chamber now. He had no weapons. No armor. Only his diplomatic uniform and a rapidly increasing heart rate. Around him, Valari officers moved with perfect precision. Their suits communicated in light pulses. Tactical projections filled the air. The Karth fleet spread out. No warnings. No speeches. Just fire. The first impact hit the outer shield like a hammer striking glass. The entire palace vibrated. Elias stumbled but stayed upright. The princess stood at the center of command, calm and terrifying. Return fire, she ordered. Valari cannons ignited. Blue lances of energy cut through space. One Karth ship exploded silently in the void. 3 more advanced. They're ignoring losses, Elias said. Yes, she replied. They test resolve. Another impact. Stronger. The shield grid flickered. A Valari officer sent rapid signals. The projection shifted. Princess, the officer transmitted. Karth boarding vessels detected. Elias felt a cold wave move through him. Boarding, he repeated. Yes. The princess turned toward him. You should retreat now. No. You will die. Maybe, he said. But if humans run the first time things get hard, what does that say about the alliance? She paused. It was a brief pause. But it meant something. Very well, she said again. The impact came seconds later. A violent shudder. Metal screamed. Gravity flickered. The Karth had attached to the outer hull. Internal corridors lit up with warning paths. Valari soldiers moved instantly. Weapons formed from their armor like growing bones. The princess turned to Elias. Stay behind me. He nodded. The corridor outside the command chamber was no longer peaceful and curved. Now it was smoke, flashing lights, and distant explosions. The first Karth soldier breached through a sealed door in a shower of sparks. It was massive. Dark armor. Thick. Brutal. No elegance. Only force. The Valari soldiers engaged immediately. Energy blades flashed. Pulse weapons cracked the air. Elias pressed himself against the wall, heart pounding. This was not diplomatic tension. This was survival. A Karth warrior broke through the defensive line. It swung a heavy weapon, knocking a Valari soldier across the corridor. The princess moved. Faster than Elias expected. Her armor reshaped into combat form, edges sharper, lines more aggressive. She intercepted the Karth strike with a glowing shield. The impact shook the hallway. She countered with precise force. The Karth fell. But more were coming. Princess, an officer transmitted. Multiple breach points. She assessed instantly. Then she did something unexpected. She looked at Elias. Human, she said. Yes. Your species adapts under pressure. Usually because we have no choice. Then adapt. She redirected forces, but the Karth kept pushing. They were not testing anymore. They were trying to break morale. A Karth blast hit a nearby support column. The corridor ceiling cracked. A section collapsed. 2 Valari soldiers were trapped under debris. Without thinking, Elias ran forward. The heat burned his skin. Dust filled his lungs. He grabbed a fallen beam. It was far too heavy. His muscles screamed. He pulled anyway. A Valari soldier looked at him in disbelief. Retreat, the soldier transmitted. No. Elias shouted. The princess saw him. For 1 second, war calculations froze. He strained harder. The beam shifted slightly. Not enough. Then one of the freed Valari soldiers joined him. Together, they lifted just enough for the trapped soldier to slide free. The ceiling collapsed fully seconds later. Elias fell backward, coughing. Alive. The princess stared at him. You risked yourself for non-human soldiers, she said. Yes. They are not your kind. They're my allies. The word echoed through nearby comm signals. Allies. Not tools. Not shields. Allies. The Karth pushed harder. But something changed. Valari soldiers adjusted tactics. Not rigid. Not perfect. Flexible. More like humans. The princess gave a new order. Open external vent corridor 17. An officer hesitated. That will expose interior to vacuum. Yes. Elias understood first. You're going to flush them out. Yes. Valari soldiers sealed themselves magnetically to surfaces. Karth troops did not adapt fast enough. The corridor opened to space. Explosive decompression roared through the hallway. Karth invaders were ripped into vacuum. The breach sealed seconds later. Silence. Heavy breathing. Smoke. The immediate boarding threat was gone. But the fleet battle continued outside. Climax. Human strategy. Back in command. Shield levels were dropping. The Karth ships were focusing fire on weak structural points. They are targeting fear, the princess said. Elias studied the projection. They expect you to defend the palace. Yes. They want you reactive. Yes. He leaned closer to the display. What if you stop defending? The room went still. Explain, she said. Humans don't win by being stronger, he said quickly. We win by being unpredictable. He pointed to the asteroid's outer ring. You have mining thrusters, right? Yes. Use them. They are not weapons. Neither were half the things humans used in our wars. She processed rapidly. You suggest ramming? No, he said. Slingshot. Understanding flashed across her expression. The palace was embedded in the asteroid. If they fired thrusters on one side, they could shift its orbit slightly. Not fast. But enough. The Karth fleet was in tight formation for maximum shield penetration. They did not expect the target to move. The princess gave the order. Thrusters ignited. The asteroid shifted. Not dramatically. Just enough. Karth firing lines misaligned. 2 ships collided slightly while adjusting. Valari cannons seized the moment. 3 more Karth vessels exploded. Continue lateral shift, she ordered. The Karth commander adapted quickly, but now they were reacting. Not controlling. Elias exhaled slowly. Chaos, he muttered. Yes, she agreed. Effective chaos. The Karth fleet finally broke formation. Retreat vectors formed. They had not expected resistance like this. They had not expected flexibility. They had not expected a palace to move. Within minutes, the remaining Karth ships jumped to hyperspace. Gone. Silence returned to space. Ending. A new understanding. The damage was heavy. But the palace still stood. Valari casualties were lower than expected. Morale was higher than ever recorded. In a quiet observation chamber overlooking space, Elias stood beside the princess again. Her armor was partially open. Not fully, but enough to see her eyes. "You were right," she said. "That doesn't happen often," he replied tiredly. She almost smiled. "Our empire has relied on strength and certainty," she said. "Today we relied on adaptation." "Welcome to being human," he said. She turned toward him. "You ran toward danger." "Yes." "You lifted debris you could not lift." "Yes." "You proposed strategy under fire." "I talk a lot when I'm scared." She studied him carefully. "Your fear does not control you." "It definitely tries." She looked out at the quiet stars. "The Karth will return." "Probably," he said. "And next time." Elias took a slow breath. "Next time, we'll be ready." She considered that. Then she did something small. She removed her gauntlet. Just one hand. She placed it against the observation glass. Elias hesitated. Then he placed his bare hand beside hers. Two different species. Two different histories. Same reflection in the glass. "The Empire will record today as a military victory," she said. "What will you record it as?" he asked. She looked at him. "A confirmation." "Of what?" That removing armor was not weakness. Outside, repair drones moved across the asteroid surface. Far away, stars burned quietly. The Alliance had been tested. It had not broken. And across Valari space, stories began to spread. Not about the Karth attack. Not about fleet losses. But about the human who ran toward falling debris. About the palace that moved like a wild thing. About a princess who chose vulnerability. And an ally who proved it was not a mistake. For the first time in Valari history, courage was not defined by armor thickness. It was defined by standing when fear said run. And somewhere deep in Imperial records, a new concept was added beside military doctrine. Human resilience, unpredictable, irrational, effective. The war was not over. But the Empire was no longer alone.